Hi, and welcome back to the Brain First Parenting podcast. For today's episode, I am excited to introduce you to my guest, Mary McDirmid. Mary serves as the Special Needs Financial Planner and founding member of All Needs Planning, which specializes in simplifying the special needs planning process. She also serves as a volunteer and advocate for children with rare diseases. As you'll hear in our conversation today, Mary really understands the emotional, financial, legal, and support aspects of caring for a loved one with disabilities because she is the parent of a child with a rare disease. No matter how old your child is, you will want to listen in on our conversation today as Mary walks us through everything you need to know to plan for your child's financial future within the context of them living with a neurobehavioral condition. With that, please enjoy my conversation with Mary McDirmid. Hello, Mary. Thanks so much for joining me on the Brain First Parenting podcast. I am so excited to have you here.
Oh, no, thanks for having me. Of course.
It's great. I'm so glad we were talking before we hit record about just how small our world is, and we know a lot of the same people in this area of supporting parents who have kids with complex profiles, medical conditions. So it's really nice to be in touch with you and to have you talking to a topic that I know that the parents who are in my audience will really benefit from. So before we get into that, I would love to hear a little bit about how you got into this work. You know, folks listen to the formal introduction I have for you right after they hit play. So they have that information, but I'm always curious about how did they start doing this work?
Yeah, totally. And I always like to preface that formal introduction with I'm also the best, unpaid Uber driver, snack bringer,
I get
all the
it.
things that we also do, but that's not going to get compliance approved, right? But I'm a current athlete, former basketball player, all of those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got into this 10 years ago, actually in January. I wanted to own my own business in some form or fashion. I was always that kind of human in my life. I just didn't know how I was going to make it happen. So my actual financial planner was like, I actually think you'd be great at this or nursing. And I was like, cool. I don't want someone to die while I'm working. So let's go the other way. And so I started down that road January of 2016. I had a 2-year-old and I was pregnant with my second. Okay. Super, super easy time to just launch into your own business. And about 2 months in, really early in, we had an ultrasound at the halfway point to find out the sex. And we also found out there were tumors on my daughter's heart. And we were a 99% chance we were going to have specific rare disease called TSC. So in the rare world, that's a gift. I still see it as a gift. At the time when I was pregnant, I was very scared. But now looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I knew that going in. She was going to be in the NICU. We were going to have her in the hospital. All these things were very laid out for me in a very nice, actual way, where not everybody gets that gift. And so I was a baby advisor. I had done my own planning. And then when I got out of the NICU fog and got myself back into the working world, I was like, my plan that I already did was hosed. That was only a couple months ago. This seems complex because I don't know, how are we going to do this? It's not okay, my other daughter, we're going to college fund. She's going to go off to college. We have money set aside for that. She's going to launch into the world. It's not in any way, none of that seems relevant. So I raise my hand when I need help. And luckily at the company I was with at the time had a program called Special Care. They had me get a designation to help families like ours. Their leader, Kelly Piacente, is kind of a trailblazer and been in this work her entire career. And she's one of my great, let's say, mentors in the space. So I really credit her with saying, hey, I think you should do this. And also here's the CEO of the TSC Alliance because I have her phone number and you should call her and she's going to tell you it's going to be okay. It's like small worlds of the small worlds, right? And
Yes,
so,
yeah.
yeah, I was like, okay, cool. I want to help these families. Like I'm in, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so without a lot of, I am kind of a leaper without a lot of research. I was like, I want to help these families, whatever that means. Let's make it happen. So
Yes, yes.
after
Oh my
10
gosh.
years, you can kind of pick up a lot. I mean, I'm also a human that likes to be curious, and every person that comes to me has a different scenario, which keeps my brain and the puzzle part of it really
Yep.
active. And so this fits me. Like I don't,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think I just walked through the park with a 20-year-old who wants to go down this road of being in our industry. And I was like, yeah, oh man, I remember not knowing anything about myself when I was 20. Like,
Yeah. It's a
I was like,
very specific knowing at 20 years
yeah,
old.
I was like, I had a lot of questions for her. She was probably like, why are you asking me so many questions? But
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I just feel really excited that I get to help the people that I adore
Yes.
in my job every day. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think everybody gets to do that, but I get to do that.
Yeah, I love that. I can hear the passion that you have for these families too. And similarly, I mean, the families you work with are the families that I work with, so I get that.
Yeah.
I on this podcast, I have parents of all their kids are of all ages, but I know that I have
Mhm.
a lot of parents in that tween age group, the teenager age group. I shared with you that my daughter is 17, so I'm like very selfishly like, yes, let's have a conversation about this. And so I guess beginning it, ideally, if you had the gift of time, when
Mhm.
should parents start thinking about these financial transition plannings for their child who navigates, experiences the world differently, might have a different path than a
Mhm.
neurotypical child? And what does starting even look like actionable, concrete things that parents should begin with?
Yeah, the point of entry question is very popular. I think I take it in two ways. One, I really am gonna need you to have a little bit of brain space to think about it. Okay. So if we can reduce a stressor, because we're all parent caregivers, that's very intense to do both those jobs. So like
Yeah.
if I can reduce a stress point in any other way so that you can kind of think about it, then I'm gonna jump at those times, regardless of timeline.
Okay.
So I think of like when kids start to go to school, even if it's like the pre-K programs that our kids get to go to at 4. If you are the person that's like, this is keeping me up at night, and I'm gonna meet with Mary, and my child's 4, so that seems very early, and maybe we don't know all the things, but I do have energy and I do want to tackle it. I will take that person,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
If you are completely overwhelmed with the day to day, we are gonna have to talk about reducing something so you can take on something else.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So like across the board, like there has to be some kind of energy and space
Yeah.
in your brain
Capacity.
to
Yeah.
take it on, right? Then that's really hard to do. Like I'm not saying that's simple.
Yeah.
I'm not discounting our load. But like you are gonna have to do some work. Now, when it becomes emergent, if we're not like actually making time for them, is usually around 14-ish when your child is 14 because they are transitioning into high school and the IEP team is going to start talking about transition planning if
Yes.
they're going to stay till 18, if they're going to be in 21, and that in your brain is requiring you to start to think forward.
Yes.
So I always say there's like my preferred, like, oh, I have a moment to think about this and it is waking me up at night. So I would like to close a tab in my
Yeah.
head that's spinning,
Yeah. Yeah.
or it is going to be forced on you to start to think about, because that 18 transition, there is a bunch of checklist things.
Yes.
We do have to do a lot of things at 18 because our
Yes.
kids are an adult in the eyes of the rest of the world. Okay.
Right.
So there are some things we got to get through. And so the most we see coming in are when our kids are between 14 and 17. If they have already done that work, it is about 5 to 10 years before parent retirement, because that becomes a reality as well.
Gotcha. Okay. And so I think people will, well, I know that parents listening in will be really familiar with that IEP transition planning
Yeah.
that you just mentioned. And
Yeah.
so that will resonate with folks. And then it sounds like the financial piece that you specifically help parents with, at that point, it's like that's when we should start kind of aligning the financial plans as well with whatever that transition plan is in education.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know if it's like we don't have to pay for things, right, in education, but it is a time where people are like, oh, I'm gonna have a young adult. Like
Yeah.
we're not babies anymore, right? Where
Right.
you have one, you have a 17-year, like, oh, okay, this is like you're going into adulthood. And I don't know specifically for neurobehavior teens, it is a very like there could be two paths. This
Yeah.
could be we're going into a college situation, whether it's credited or not. We might be going to a work. We might not be able to go out into the world at all, right?
Yeah.
And it is very, I think people don't want to raise their hands because they're like, I don't know what's going to happen. Well, we're going to plan for both because they're both, it's going to be a roller coaster between two worlds for a lot
Yes.
of those families, right? You're going to be working for a bit, might not work out, might be unemployed for a bit, might have to be on benefits. And we're going to balance this tightrope between those two worlds for a lot of narrow behavior type
Yeah.
of um, your audience, I would say the most. And to be very straight with you, that's the hardest to plan for. It's
Right.
not a direct path.
Right, right. But I think actually, I mean, just listening to that, I just think, well, there's some peace in hearing
Totally.
that because
Mhm.
you don't know as a parent. It's like, okay, I know how they are in school. I know how that has gone well or not well, and the
Totally.
conditions that have made it go well or not well. But this like unknown after that very structured school environment, if that's been what parents have had, that can feel really unsettling. Like, I don't know what it's going to look like. Like, I hope they can have productive work to some degree, but maybe not. I mean, again, I'm thinking about this with my parent hat more than anything. Um,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm curious about what changes at 18. Like what
Yeah.
changes
Yeah.
legally and financially. Um,
Yeah. Let me bring my list so I can have it in front of me. Let me bring my list up real quick so that
yeah, and maybe
um
I'm guessing there's some that maybe are more familiar for parents than others. If there
yeah.
are some that catch parents by surprise,
Yeah.
that
So let's
would
talk
be,
about let's say the more knowables.
yeah.
So your loved one with a disability is going to turn 18. They are an adult in the world. Okay.
Mhm.
So if they need any kind of assistance from you, that is a power of attorney, guardianship type of conversation, right?
Mhm.
And that means access to medical records, signing contracts, um, just making decisions, right? And there are states that have supported decision making. Like I'm not a you're going to find this from me. I'm not judging any option.
Yeah.
I just need the option to fit the dynamic between the child and what they actually need,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I know there are strong opinions about guardianship, power of attorney, and all of those things.
Yeah.
I am going to be your biggest cheerleader on what is best for your family, and we're going to
Yeah.
figure that out.
Yeah.
And to know the root of why I'm going to do that is because I want to know your role and I want to know who's your backup and who's going to take that over later, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to dabble between, hey, this is a problem we need to solve today. And then we do have downriver problems. And
Yes.
I want to know, okay, if this fits for you, cool, but you are the parent. So I want to know what is also the solution if it's not you,
Yes.
right? And that
Yeah.
might shift their brains from one to the other of those options. Yeah,
Gotcha.
power of attorney, guardianship, supported decision making. Okay.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So that's a big one, right? Because they are 18 and they might not be able to handle all of the adulting that is
Yes.
happening around them.
Yep.
um, Also, are we going to stay in school till 22? So there's school decisions. Are we going to graduate with our class? Are we going to stay into transition programs where we have vocational things that they learn between 18 and 22?
Mhm.
School department. Does the healthcare team have to change? So will your healthcare team keep your loved one because now they're a legal adult?
Yep.
Does a ped side keep your loved one, or do they have to switch
Right.
to an adult side?
Yep. Yep.
Social Security and waiver. So depending on your state. So federally, Social Security are the benefits. So at 18, once their birthday passes in 1 month and 1 day, they can apply for Social Security
Okay.
supplement. Okay. So if we're not in the working world, even if we are in college, we can apply for those benefits through the federal system. If you are on a state-based waiver, so that is providing Medicaid, caregiver hours, respite nursing, whatever your
Yeah.
state model is, um, they have different steeples to go over at different ages. And some of them are 18, some of them aren't. But you need to know what the waiver program in your state is and how are we going to pivot.
Gotcha.
Financially, we start to think of, are they going to live at home? How much am I like the easy step? So to answer your question directly, the easy step I ask parents to do is write down all the things. And if you're married, you and your spouse on a piece of paper, write down everything you do for your loved one with a disability
Yeah.
separately
Yep.
at the same table. And then you come together after that homework assignment has been completed and we're comparing.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What am I doing? What don't I have access to? Like, what's going on here? Because that's the kind of start of a care plan, letter of intent, like the document that you have that someone else could take over for you if something were to happen, or you have a respite provider.
Yes.
So like, that's a start of figuring out what are all the things we're doing that most likely are outside of parent activities and we're dabbling into caregiver activities.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
Because then you can categorize stuff and be like, oh, this is like a project manager. Like this is somebody that's like negotiating the day, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is actual nursing. Like can't toilet yet, so we're having to help there. Can't dress yet. We're going to go into the ADL world of meal preparation. What in the world there can we do, right?
Yeah.
And if it is intense nursing, there's nursing stuff like G-tube fed, if we're in a wheelchair, if we, whatever those behaviors, if we have behavior and who can handle it, like, so there is a way to like kind of figure out the task. It's not fun. I did it with my husband and there was some realizations on both sides where we were like, oh, you do divide and conquer, which is required, but you also like need to be informed.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking about the parents that I work with and, one of the things that they do when they come to me is start to get really clear on what their child is actually capable of and not. Because a lot of these young adults can at times appear what we'd consider neurotypical. And
totally. They can get by. They can get by.
But as they get older, they can't get by as
the gap
well.
gets bigger.
That's right. And so I call it the expectation gap. I just recorded a podcast episode.
Oh, I'll listen. I'm listening to that. When does that get published? I'm in. I'll send that to everybody I know.
Yeah, because it's very disorienting. It feels like whiplash, like what just happened. And so doing that, like for parents who have younger kids, doing that like inventory list that you talked about, but making sure that they're doing it again as their child gets older because the world is expecting more of them. And so there may be more things to add to that list that weren't on there before.
I agree. And to me, that the things that will start to stand out is like, are we going to go down a benefit road? Like, are these intense enough where we can apply for some of these state-based benefits or federal benefits that can help?
Yeah.
Because, I'm not unguilty of this, of being like, my daughter can definitely tie her shoes.
Yeah.
Can she tie them without 4 reminders?
Yeah, right.
No. Do we have to kind of get out of the house at a certain time so she's not late for school? Absolutely. So there is like things that creep in that you're going to do for your loved one with a disability where you're like, oh. And it comes to me at the IEP meeting, we're like, yeah, we're having a really hard time with XYZ. And I was like, yeah, we're not doing that at home. Like
Yeah. Right.
I'm tired and I should be definitely challenging her to do more, but like
Yeah. Well, as they become a young adult, things like for my daughter, she really cares about her hygiene. Like that, she feels self-conscious if, her hair isn't quite so, or, whatever, she has clothes that need to be changed. But she, which is of course understandable and developmentally appropriate, but she doesn't necessarily have the skills to do something about it without me prompting her through, like, now let's remember to take care of this, take care of that. So she doesn't end up in that situation where she feels self-conscious. So even just that, you talked about the reminders with the shoe tying. I'm thinking about just the prompting for daily
100%.
living
Hygiene is my
activities.
number one example I give to families
Yeah.
specifically when they're going to
Yeah.
apply for benefits through the state because they're going to be like, "Oh, can they shower on their own?" And you're
Yes.
like, "Sure, yeah, they can do it."
Right.
And they
Right.
notice that they need to shower.
That's exactly right. It's very
Can they
determined.
actually go and do the full thing? And if it's girls, like, are we shaving our legs? Are we washing our hair? Wait, are we
Yeah.
washing our hair completely?
Yes,
Are
that's
we
right.
doing all the activities in the shower? We getting out of the shower, completely dressing, putting laundry away, hanging up a towel?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
answer
Yeah.
is usually no. And I'm like, cool, what percentage of that are we helping with? And that is the answer you give to the assessment person that comes into your home when you're applying for these waivers. Because
Yes.
you're like, yeah, of course they are. Like if I, same, like my daughter gets dressed every day. Yeah. Mm. Could she do buttons? No, we just have clothes without buttons.
Yeah.
Okay, that's important,
That's
right?
right.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I hope the parents listening are picking up on this because this important detail because you really do want to make sure that you are accounting for every single way that you're supporting your child. And those prompts, for example, are really important, but we often, it's just what we do and we've done it for a decade and, or longer,
yeah.
however long. So,
Yeah,
okay.
and then I guess for us in that space, just one more thing about that,
Yeah,
which will lead to like this kind of financial space is
yeah.
we are gonna ask you in our process, what are those things you're doing? Because we're gonna assign some dollars to that if
Okay.
you're not the person.
Gotcha.
And we're
Okay.
not gonna caregive forever. So that is gonna have to be replaced in some form of fashion. And so
Yeah.
like it is a way for us as your planners to think of what you're doing for your family that would truly be outside of a parental activity,
Yes.
or
Okay.
not age appropriate anymore because that is a thing that they could do on their own in a typical household, right? So like it does have a financial impact that I do think that is the hardest thing for us to calculate. It's not like my daughter loves milkshakes. Cool. Budget in a milkshake once a week for the rest of her life. That's a
Yeah.
hard cost. Soft
Yes.
cost is what are we doing for them that would need to be replaced by another human
Okay.
and how
Gotcha.
often and what's the
Yeah.
activity type of thing.
Ooh,
Does that make
I
sense
can.
to you?
Oh, it makes total sense. And I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, like, my mind's spinning a little bit. My head is spinning a little bit because I'm like, yeah, this gets complicated really quickly,
I know. I'm trying
which
to keep
is
it high. I'll try to
yeah,
keep it
no,
high,
it's,
but yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I think it really does highlight the need for somebody with your expertise. So I did want to, before we go much further, you mentioned a few terms, and I was hoping you could
Mm,
just give at least brief
yeah.
definitions of them. I heard you say supported decision making,
hmm
guardianship. I know there's also conservatorship, like those
hmm
three big ones. Are you able to give just brief definitions?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the major differences I see, and I put guardianship and conservatorship in the same bucket because different states call them different things, but they're
Okay.
kind of in the same, let's call them in the same camp.
Okay.
Um, Power of attorney and supported decision making. So this is
Okay.
really, this guardianship power of attorney roads are dependent on your loved ones with a disability's ability to sign a doc. So I use these, think of these in the elder space too. So my dad had Parkinson's. He started to need someone to help him make decisions. Okay. In the elder space, my dad was more than willing to put me down as his power of attorney. He was signing a document. He was of sound mind saying, I want my daughter to be my power of attorney. That meant
Yes.
I am one and the same with him. I can sign a document. I can sign checks.
Yeah.
I could sell a house. Like we are literally, while he's alive, we are one and the same.
Gotcha.
Guardianship is for those that could not sign that document. So let's play this out longer. My dad goes into dementia, right? He's not of sound mind.
Hmm.
If we hadn't signed that power of attorney, I would have had to go petition the court that I need to be the guardian of my father because he can't make decisions for himself. And
Okay.
the court assigns me that guardianship or conservatorship.
Okay.
Okay. So it really is a capacity of your loved one on roads to go down. And then what it allows you to do, like I said, in the power of attorney and guardian space, these documents feel the same externally to the
Yes.
world. It's just one is I did this of sound mind and allowed someone to do this in my stead if I needed it. And this one
Yes.
is I petitioned a court that you can't make those decisions and I'm volunteering to be your person.
Okay. Okay.
Like high level crayon. Like people are gonna like jump in the comments and be like, that's not perfect. I was like, it's not perfect, but it is very
Yes.
very high level.
Yeah, we're just given general broad stroke definitions
I'm
here.
not a lawyer, just so we're super clear.
Yeah. So and you begin either one of those processes at 18, or is that
Yeah,
okay?
some states allow both pre-18, but most of them are triggered at 18 because they are an adult. The one
Okay.
like hot tip I would tell you to do, this is specifically I'm talking to you,
Yep.
get your daughter a state ID
Yeah. Okay.
before she turns 18 because that is easier as a minor and a parent coming in to help than after 18. Now they want you to have some kind of documentation of why you can help them get that ID.
Yeah.
A
Okay.
very hot tip if you want one, just get an
Okay.
ID pre-18. Doesn't have to be a driver's license, obviously. It could just be a state issued ID.
Yeah. Okay. We have 6 months. We'll do
Yeah.
it.
You're like writing all the things
I know.
down.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I'm curious about ABLE accounts.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
when a family, well, just a brief overview and definition of what it
Mhm.
is. If it's new for some folks, I imagine it is. And then when does a family start thinking about opening one? How does it work? All of those
Yeah.
details.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about ABLE and special needs trust because they're like in the same camp of questions that I get all the time, if
Okay,
that's cool.
great. Yeah.
Let's do like the high level, right? So I'm going to use my daughter as an example to tell the story of why we have them and when we should get one.
Okay.
Pretend she's about to turn 18. So let's talk about the 18 transition, okay?
Yeah.
I am applying for Social Security, and the way Social Security works is you apply, let's say we apply today. Right now, they're running about 10 months to approval. Okay, so that's a long time to
Yeah.
wait, but they back pay you to the date of application.
Okay.
Okay. And when you're on these means-based benefits, you can only have $2,000 in your name. But I'm going to get from back pay $10,000 from the federal government.
Yes. Okay. I'm seeing
Okay.
this. Yep.
So where am I going to put $8,000 so I can get under that threshold in the
Yes.
6 months they allow me to pay that down? I'm going to use an ABLE account.
Okay.
Okay. So an ABLE account is oh, sorry, my microphone. We leverage them to put monies in for monies that come directly to your loved one's name. So for my daughter, if Ruth got any funds directly into her name, which Social Security would come to her in her name, there'd be a rep pay account that you can manage, but it is actually written to her. I'm using an ABLE account as an overflow to stay under a $2,000 limit to stay on these benefits.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Gotcha.
one example.
Hmm.
Another one would be if you have a loved one they were built as a vehicle to save into if your loved one has a disability and is in the working world. Okay, so let's play this scenario out. Let's pretend Ruth's a lot older. She's in her 30s. She's working at Mod Pizza. She's
Hmm.
getting $2,000 into her household every month from
Yeah.
wages and $1,000 from Social Security.
Yeah.
Okay, and what number do we have to be below every month?
2000.
$2,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's going to pay me $500 for living within my home as a support agreement.
Okay.
We still have $500 we got to put somewhere, and she's not spending it down on anything. She's a thrifty person. Okay. We're going to shove 500 into the ABLE, and we're going to be below the $2,000 threshold that Social Security requires. This is all above board. This is why it's created. So we can save into this ABLE account so that she can use those funds for a bigger purchase down the line.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
Comes with a prepaid card. So it gives her some autonomy. So she's in Special Olympics bowling. She wants $50 on her prepaid Visa out of the ABLE. We can load money onto there. She can do it for entertainment. We're good to go.
Okay.
Okay. So think of that as like, it's like a jack of all trades account, which is hard because they're like, is it a checking account? Is it an investment account? Is it blah, blah? It's all the things. It's all of the things that we're going to kind of use at our disposal.
Okay.
Every state has their own ABLE program. So I do send people to abletoday.org to find out what your state program is, what are the whistles, and what are the great things, what are the not great things.
Okay.
So
Great.
it's state ran. So it's like a 529 structure, but it's used for more things than just college funding for our families.
Okay.
Okay. So those are like funds that come in her name. I'm going to shove that as an overflow. Special needs trust is where my assets are going to go that I want to pass on to her for that cost of care for her lifetime.
Okay.
Okay. The reasons are ABLE has a contribution limit, so you can only contribute so much money to them per year. There are some other limitations and things that go along with ABLE, so you just gotta use it as the tool that we have for it. But I couldn't put my 401k into an ABLE for her because the
Yes.
limit's $20,000 per year to
Okay.
contribute, to put in.
Got it. Got it.
So
Okay.
I need another vehicle that will accept my larger assets to support her long term, and that is a supplemental special needs trust.
Okay. I did not know any of that.
But that is the same, the Korean version of it. Like there's
Yeah.
obviously like once you get into the details, there's some other things, there's some other things. And I do want to be very clear, like we have clients that aren't on benefits that have these tools, because the thing I tell people as well is like if you're not benefit eligible now, like you're not going down the SSI road, you're not eligible for the waiver or Medicaid in
Yes.
your state. Like I always tell the parent, this is fun and hard. What if you're not around to support? Are they
Yeah.
going to be benefit dependent?
Yes. Yeah.
And
Oh,
that, if it's yes, then we're going to plan for it, even though they're not in place now.
yeah. I know that that is a conversation that keeps the parents that I work with up at night. And they're left going, I know I need a plan. I'm just not sure what to do about it. I don't know what my options are. So this is all really, really helpful. It also sounds like it's a way of protecting their benefits while still the parent still being able to help their young
Yeah.
adult as much as they're able to financially. Um,
Yeah, that's what I
like
like the
both can
very
happen.
start when I do these presentations. I want to
Yeah.
give your kids a great life and I want to keep them
Yeah.
benefit eligible. They're not like buddies. They don't hang out at bars or drink together after hours. They're like,
They're separate. They're
yeah, they're
separate.
separate, but we
Yeah.
need both, and we're gonna work within both and whatever rules and things that are
Yeah.
laid out for us. Like we're gonna work within it. And if you're not, I do like to at least plan for that we might need them if you're not here to support, because we just
Yeah.
do a lot of things that we don't know that we do, and if we're not around, they may be dependent on those.
Okay. Okay. That, I mean, hearing about those two different options, and I'm sure there are more that we probably won't have time to get to today, but I'm so glad that people are going to know of you and can reach out to you and learn more.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I think the last question that I want to make sure I give you the chance to highlight are what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see parents, especially of teens, tweens, making as they try to figure out this planning for their child's future that is going to look different than maybe their other kids or what they expected? Like, what are some pitfalls we want to make sure they're aware of before they get there?
Yeah, I mean, let's hit the emotional one. So it's the burying of the head.
Okay.
Just like everything's going to be work out,
Yeah.
everything's going to be fine. And
Yeah.
then you're shocked when things don't and things are hard. Like,
Yeah.
just, I know from being a parent of a kiddo with a rare disease that it does suck when something comes up and you raise your hand and nobody's there, but there are people that will help, right? And so I think we just can't go along and think that it's all just going to work itself out
Yeah.
in general. So like just kind of be proactive and be like, I'm actually going to just take a step and do some of these
Yes.
things on this checklist that are
Yes.
intense. Um, like I think, and this is like the older generation not keeping records. So like you're, if we're applying for these systems, you're gonna want the IEPs and you're gonna want some of the behavioral assessments. You're gonna want to have, and most things are digital now. So like I have clients that come to me that are in their 70s and they have a child that's 50 and they're like, we didn't even have IEP. Like we don't have that stuff. So it's
Yeah.
harder to prove out the need of things when you're in the benefit space if you have zero documentation.
Yes.
Um, we don't need benefits, even though you probably might.
Yeah.
We can sustain without them. I am a pretty big proponent of applying no matter what, and either we're going to be waitlisted and we're in the system, which is better than having an emergent thing happen and have to apply and wait 10 months for
Yes.
something.
Yes.
Um,
So it sounds like it's all, I talk about it as not having your head in the sand, which is what
not
you're
having your
talking
head in the
about.
sand is
But
really the biggest. It's just
yeah, and just
emotionally being like, this is our world and we're going to have to do it.
right, and then finding expertise like you. I
Yeah.
mean, it's I shared with you earlier, like we're very familiar with financial planning, my husband and I, but we've not had any discussions about specifically what it means for my daughter. And this, even just this conversation highlighting like, okay, yeah, I think she will be a great employee for somebody
Yeah.
someday. Like she's very capable. Now, is it full time? Is it consistent work? Is it like, yeah, that's still
Unsure.
to be determined.
Unsure.
And so to hear about like, okay, there's a way that we can protect her benefits, but also give her like as much independence, autonomy as possible. And that financially, like we want that emotionally and for lots of other reasons, but that
Totally.
financially there is a way that that can work out. But we have to start planning for it. We have to know what are the
Yeah,
options
because
and
in
how do
your
we
head,
set
you're
it
like, I'm
up.
funding things right now. Yeah,
Right,
yeah, I can pay for things. Cool.
right,
Can you pay for them in retirement? And then what is the number you need to leave behind, right? Is
right.
usually where we get to is like, even if she is in the working world, if it's part-time, you're going to supplement somehow,
Yes.
right? And is
So
that housing? Is that regular living? Is that what is
right,
that, right?
right, right. Well, and the other thing related to all of this that I just want to highlight for parents is, and I'll speak from my personal experience. Someday when my husband and I aren't here, and
Totally.
she has an older brother who is neurotypical, and I expect him to be earning his own living and doing
Totally.
the more, what we imagine, like the traditional
Yep.
route. But I don't want him to feel the financial
Yes.
burden of caretaking on top of what might already be involved. And so knowing that now when she's 17, like we're already looking ahead to that and thinking about what do we do now so that that reality isn't there for him, you know?
Yeah. We
And
take sibling relationships very seriously
yeah,
of
yeah,
what I am a huge person of like, what can I do while I'm around to make
yes,
this not as intense for
yes,
Ruth's sister, if she even wants a role. So like
right, exactly.
allowing it not to be a requirement, allowing them to go live, like be a baby adult, like come back around when you're 30 and we can talk about roles and positions and
That's
things. But
right.
like I want them to go experience the world
Totally. Yep.
and then me to do as much work as possible to make that the smoothest handoff that can possibly be
With
out there.
options, with some options
Some
to
options.
explore
Yep.
within that
Yep.
for
And I
sure.
know people are like, oh, that's great for you. You have a sibling or you have an extended family. I don't have a lot of those things either, but I do like that assignment I said in the beginning. I did break up work so I could have four people take up jobs and
Yeah.
not have it be because if you're trying to replace yourself with one person, that's going to be a very hard task.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that we've connected. We could talk forever.
I know it's trouble.
Because I mean, yeah, we could really get in the weeds with all of this.
Yeah.
And so that's why I want folks to know how to find you, where
Yep.
to like see the resources you have, what you have to offer in case this is something that they're thinking like, okay, no, we need to get on this and do this. How can they
Yeah.
learn more about you?
Yeah, so we're on all the socials. Allneedsplanning.com is our website as well.
Okay.
We have a looks like everybody, so another Facebook group, but like if you want to be part of a Facebook group that's only families and we're the admins, and so we throw surveys and questions in there to the group sometimes. But allneedsplanning.com, our website will get you to all the things that we offer. So if you want our direct help, if you want to buy our book that we just published
Oh,
2 weeks
congrats.
ago, that is
Yeah,
now out in the
awesome.
world. Yeah. And then so we just have a lot of different ways to engage. And so it
Okay.
is kind of a choose your own adventure. But yeah, All Needs Planning has all of the things to get you to the places you want to go.
Great. Okay. And I will connect with you so I make sure I get all of the
Yeah.
relevant links to
Yeah.
include in the show notes. So for folks listening, you can go to the show notes and find all of those relevant links to the book, to the website, all that kind of stuff there.
Yeah.
So, all
Yeah.
right, Mary, thank you so much for
No,
spending this
thank
time
you.
with
This has
us.
been amazing.
It's wonderful to meet you. Maybe we'll be in touch again and have you back
I would love
for
it. I'm
part
in.
two. Okay. Take care.
Bye.